Hello, it's me again. Alright, so today I would like to tell you about how I improved my drawing. Before I get into the details, let me tell you what information you will not find in this video. I don't want you to waste your time. If you're looking for some quick fixes or like quick tips or something, this is not the video for you, okay?
This is definitely not an instructional video. I will not be going over how to shade things, how to get your proportions right, how to do values correctly, none of that.
And before I proceed, I feel obligated to just mention a few disclaimers. I'm not a teacher and I don't have an art degree, okay? So if that turns you off, then it's totally fine. You can click off, but I hope you decide to stay. Whenever I say you should or should not do something, or do it this way or don't do it that way, it's really a suggestion, it's a proposal, it's an invitation, it's something for you to consider. I'm not by any means really trying to tell you what to do. And ultimately, whether you progress or not and how much you progress, it's really up to you. Your success does not depend on anyone. It's only up to you. And if you really want to improve, you'll improve. This is going to be a long video, one of the longest I think I've done so far. But considering the weight of the topic, I felt like it's really appropriate to give it enough attention. It's only fair. I mean, we're talking about drawing. So you may be thinking, why doesn't she just summarize all these points into like the most important thing to do in order to improve, or like these are the 3 top things that if you do them, you'll be the best of the best. No, it doesn't work that way. The specific suggestions that I will be giving in this video are really it's like a lifestyle almost. I feel like those top 5, top 3, whatever, they're just like shortcuts. We're led into believing that shortcuts are helpful, but the reality is they're not always good. So all the things I will be describing here are equally important, and if your goal is to genuinely improve, it's going to be in your interest to try to implement as much of it as possible, okay? So this video will not tell you how to improve fast. I'm so annoyed with this current mentality about doing and getting places fast, like fast. The only thing it seems like you're not supposed to do fast is age. Everything else you're supposed to do in light speed, or otherwise the thing you're doing doesn't count. And I reject this whole idea. I've rejected it a while ago, and it totally transformed me. You know, something for you to consider as well, okay? While my focus in this video is on drawing, all these points that I will be making apply to painting as well, and really any other medium that you may be working with. So when you hear the word drawing, replace it with the name of your medium, and I'm sure you'll find points, suggestions that might be applicable to your medium as well, okay? The way I'm dividing the information is, first, I'm basically going to align all my points with your drawing process. So for example, you know, from the time you're ready to start drawing to the time you call your drawing complete, I'm going to tell you at each stage of the process what has helped me and what you could consider implementing on your end, okay? And after that, I'm going to go over your general attitude towards drawing, your overall mindset, because that could make or break you. And so that's how I'm structuring the video, okay? Again, I hope you find it helpful, and let's get started. So it's a new day, you wake up and you think you're ready to start drawing, right? Let me ask you, are you hungry? If you are hungry, go eat. The worst thing that could happen is like you can start drawing and all of a sudden you're like, I am hungry, I have to go eat. And so that's already a distraction, okay? Realize what you've just done. You started drawing and then you're interrupting your playtime, okay? Do not start drawing when you're hungry. Like, go eat, and while you eat, call your friends, respond to all your texts, talk to your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your family members, and give all the money back to people that you owe. creating an environment free of distractions from the very beginning is key, okay? It's critical. Ideally, like, I would recommend that you turn off your phone, for example, because the phone is the main source of distraction these days. But I understand that, some people have emergencies and really super important things to take care of. If you can't turn off your phone, then at least learn how to ignore it. I don't respond to texts. I don't respond to emails. I don't check Instagram. I don't do anything other than drawing when I draw. And I have many friends who can confirm that, because they do get upset at me when I don't respond to texts right away. It's a thing. You have to create an environment free of distraction. That's your first priority before you start drawing. Next. Okay, so you turn off your phone, you're ready to go. Make sure that you take care of your posture. I've been around artists for a long time, and I can see physically they're just not very comfortable. The environment that they have set up for themselves is not contributing to their success. At the end of the day, they will end up with back pain or some uncomfortable body issue. I used to draw in a chair, almost like a fetal position. It was just not good. And after a while, I did start getting back pain, and I developed some weird posture issues. You don't want to be associating drawing with back pain or some other weird painful condition somewhere on your body. So drawing is supposed to be, pleasant. Get an easel, set it up so that you're not in pain after many hours of working on a drawing. In my case, I love drawing standing. I have an easel. I'm able to adjust the easel up or down. If I want to sit, I could do that as well. Take care of your posture, and your drawing ideally should be eye level. You don't want to be like this and bend your back. This way it's really comfortable. You can move whatever the drawing calls for. You could comfortably do that, okay? So that's what I would recommend. And again, if you prefer sitting, that's also fine, but consider that sitting is actually not good. If you do it for a long time, you will end up with back pain, no matter how strong you think you are, okay? So take care of your body. I don't want you to be in pain. So we're not hungry. We told all our friends to back off for a second. Have an easel in front of us. Now make sure that you have the right paper. Find paper that you like. So the reason I'm saying this is because at the very beginning, when I started drawing, I was getting frustrated. I discovered that it really wasn't because my inability to draw, but I wasn't happy with the texture I was getting. I wasn't able to blend properly. Whenever I would blend, things would be too rough, and I'm like, how did that happen? I was so gentle, And so I realized it was because of the paper that I was using. So I discovered that I really prefer working on a very smooth paper. The smoother, the better, because of the way I handle graphite. That's how I like it. And so when I realized this, my drawing transformed. It went a level up, okay? As you keep progressing, if something goes wrong with your drawing, if you feel like you're making a lot of mistakes, or things are not looking the way you want them to look, it's at least not because of paper, okay? So that's the flip side of it. So now let's go over your toolbox. What is in your toolbox? Do you have all the tools you need? Okay, so obviously you need a pencil. What kind of pencils are you using? Are they supporting your technique? For example, in my case, I always make sure that I have 2H, starting from 2B through 9B pencils, with the exception of 4B. Everybody should skip 4B pencil, just like the year 2020. I don't use 4B pencils, but check your toolbox, make sure that you have everything you need. And not only that, make sure that whatever tools you're using, that they're of good quality. Make sure they're the best, because student grade art supplies will set you back. They will continue to set you back. They will make you believe that you don't know how to draw, to be honest. In fact, if you open up your toolbox and you see an eraser that when you try to use it, it just smudges graphite all over your paper and it's not doing what you thought it would do for you, then that means you need to get a different eraser, okay? Get a better one. Going back to pencils just for a second, sharpen your pencils the way you want to sharpen them. I don't really care. I sharpen it the regular way and it's been working for me. And I find like if a teacher tells me, oh, you have to sharpen it this way or get out of my class, then I will get out of his class.
I really don't care what the art teachers say.
Anyway, so erasers, sharpeners, again, make sure you have the best quality and make sure that you have a toolbox. So I'll show you my toolbox and it's like this dirty old plastic box that I got a long time ago, but it works because it holds like 95% of my graphite supplies. And the reason this is important is because when it's time to draw, you have everything in one place, but also you really don't have to worry about like losing a pencil that you use very often. If there is something that annoys you about your toolbox, change it right away. Like if you think it's too small, if you look at it right now and say, no, you know what, it is too small, get another one ASAP. Like don't wait until tomorrow, okay? Because your time is today. So go today, get up right now and go get a better toolbox for your art supplies, okay? So now we have our toolbox. We just talked about paper. We have our favorite paper. We have all the art supplies that are the best, and we have them all at our fingertips. Now, what should we draw? So draw what you like, basically. That's my suggestion. So for example, if you're naturally inclined to draw faces, then draw faces. If you love gestural drawings, then do gestural drawings, figure drawings, quick sketches, long poses, whatever you prefer, whatever you feel like you prefer. That's what you should be drawing, at least at the beginning, okay, when you get started. The alternative is for you to draw what you don't like. You won't be as open to learning or to improving because the thing you're drawing, you have no interest in. You will never see me invest my time in drawing cars, for example. That's not my area of interest, so why would I spend time drawing cars, okay? Draw what you like, and you'll be in a better position. So now that we have a subject and we know what we want to draw, consider drawing from life as much as possible. When I started, I started by drawing from life, and I think that was like the best thing that happened to me development-wise, because while it was very hard, the type of thought process that is in your head when you draw from life versus drawing from pictures is totally different. And I am going to make a video about that at some point in the future. So consider subscribing or come back later, whatever you prefer. So consider drawing from life as much as possible. And, you know, I understand that like drawing from life is not always possible, but you could always set up a still life, or you can go outside and draw from like landscape. And I'm not saying I'm against drawing from pictures. In fact, I draw from pictures all the time. And, you know, I understand that sometimes it is very difficult to get access to live models, especially now because of the pandemic. So I totally understand. You know, we all have to have a backup plan, and using photographs in times like this is very helpful and I guess preferable. In addition to drawing from life and photographs, try to draw from imagination as well, because that's also fun. I think drawing from imagination for realists who draw from some kind of reference at all times might be challenging. Because, you know, whether you draw from life or you draw from a picture, there's always some tangible reference that you are relying on to get your image on paper. But when you draw from imagination, there's really nothing tangible for you to rely on, and you have to use your imagination. On the other hand, however, you know, even if you do draw from imagination, you are, in a way, referring to your like life experiences maybe, or things you have seen in the past, or maybe some kind of a dream or some kind of a vision you had, and you draw from imagination based on that. So those things on their own are a type of reference. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but anyway, my point is draw from life, photographs and imagination. One way of drawing will inform the other, and you will learn from each style or each approach equally well. Okay, don't fall into the trap of just relying on photographs. Yes, that's my main point. Don't fall into a trap of relying on photo references for all your work, because you will end up like this, needing help, emergency service at some point. I know people who rely on pictures to create work, and they're not able to draw from life. Whereas if you draw from life, you can always work from a picture. Okay, so that's how it works. Let's take a break. Let's keep going. Let's start small, okay? When I switched back to a smaller size, I immediately improved my drawings. I never really got this obsession with large size. At the very beginning, I was confused, and I was like, why is this drawing bigger than me? As an inexperienced artist, I thought, okay, I probably have to do larger drawings as well, even though in my head I kind of knew I wasn't ready, but I thought, based on my observation, I felt like that's what I'm supposed to do. Also, I thought if it's small, then it doesn't count, which is totally not true. Like, there's so many beautiful small drawings that are much better than the drawings you see sometimes bigger than life size. It's kind of ridiculous. Large drawings really do not prove anything other than maybe how inefficient you are with your time, because why would you want to waste your time trying to cover a large piece of paper with a tiny pencil? Use paint for that. And I learned this the hard way. Start small. It will help you. You will be able to see better in a smaller piece of paper. It will allow you to focus on the values, on the proportions, on the perspective, and whatever else you think you're having trouble with. And also, if you make a mistake on a smaller piece of paper, the mistake will seem small, as opposed to if you have 24 by 36 and you're trying to do like a figure. First of all, it will be hard for you to notice any proportional mistake unless you step back. Stepping back, coming back, just waste of time. If you make a mistake on a large piece of paper, it will take you that much longer to correct your mistake. And look what time it is. It's time to pack up and go, and your drawing remains unfinished and you have not learned anything. You didn't even correct the mistake. Okay, so my other suggestion, which is like my biggest pet peeve, is do not let anyone touch your drawing. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, so let's say you're in a class and you're drawing something beautiful from life. Your teacher comes up to you and says, let me check things from your point of view. Okay, and next thing you know, he is or she is drawing all over your drawing and trying to correct things for you. This happened to me once before. It was unexpected, and the guy didn't even ask me for permission. He just started drawing all over my drawing, and that just pissed me off so badly. I didn't know how to react, because again, it happened so quickly. And then at the end, I was left with marks on my drawing, and I felt like what he did to my drawing did not add any value. It didn't improve it, to be honest. It was just inconsistent with my thought process. It wasn't the way I was planning to go, and he just like interrupted my process. And so after that incident, I actually never went back to this guy's class, but after that, I respectfully asked every teacher I worked with since then to not touch my drawing. And again, if you feel like having the teacher draw on your drawing is something that you're into, then you can ignore what I'm saying. But consider this. How do you benefit from a teacher drawing on your piece? How do you benefit? Let me tell you, you do not benefit. Why? Because you were not the one who did the work. It was your teacher who rendered that difficult light situation on the model's shoulder. It wasn't you. Did you learn anything from that? I doubt it, because again, you were not the one who rendered that arm or that leg or whatever. And usually when they get, especially in painting class, when they get to your painting, they spend so much time trying to fix it that you really, it's like 15 minutes in a 3-hour class. It's a long time. And, it's like, can I use my time in class to just learn? So if you're in a writing class and the teacher reviews your writing assignment and he says, oh, you know what, this chapter sucks, let me rewrite it for you. I mean, I don't think that's how they handle things in writing, right? Like, and what do they do instead? Instead they give you notes, right? They say, okay, correct this, think about how to approach this. I think you should correct grammar or whatever. And what do? You go and you correct the chapter, and you may not get it the first time, but you'll get it eventually. And so you work with the teacher on the chapter. The teacher does not rewrite the chapter for you, because that would be cheating of some sort, right? So going back to painting class or drawing class, like, when did it become acceptable for teachers to draw or paint on somebody's work? When did that become acceptable? If you ask me, that should be illegal. Enough of that, okay? Because I get really kind of like weird about it. So now my next recommendation is that you record time lapse of your drawing process. And the reason I'm suggesting this is because I found it very helpful when I started drawing, and I still do time lapse because I still find it very helpful, even though I've reached a certain level. And this is a training strategy that's used by like people in sports. Dancers, for example, record themselves dancing just so they can analyze what movements need adjusting, what they're doing wrong, what should be improved, and what they're doing right. They do multiple iterations and they decide, okay, I have improved enough from the last time I recorded myself. And so they come up with a bunch of other things that they think they need to improve based on what they see. So doing the time lapse of your drawing process is also very helpful, because there might be certain points during your process when you don't even realize you're going in the wrong direction. And so many times when I watched my time-lapse videos back, I was like, okay, you know what? This is exactly where I should have paused and thought about what I'm doing, because this eye is too much to the left or too much to the right. Time-lapse videos helped me realize when that turning point was, and I was also able to figure out what I need to do in order to not make the same mistake next time. My time-lapse videos from a few years ago and now, it's a huge difference. If I put an eye in a certain position, the eye stays there and it's correct. But there are, other issues that I'm still dealing with, so I'm still trying to figure those out. I just wanted to add this little note here. So right now it's morning. It's like 7 a.m. on a Saturday. And I was thinking about this video and specifically the subject of time-lapse. So, I showed you the videos from 2015. It's clear how little understanding I had and how much learning I had ahead of me at that time. So when I used to watch my time-lapse videos from that period, I was really uncomfortable with the fact that I'm making so many mistakes during the drawing process, and that was happening with every drawing. I really didn't like that. So I made it my goal to eliminate as many mistakes during drawing as possible. But you may say it doesn't really matter how many mistakes one makes during drawing, because at the end of the day, the drawing turns out to be correct, and the final version of the drawing is the thing that people see. Like if you go to a gallery or, even if you view things on social media, assuming people don't share their progress documentation, all you see is the final result. and you're not able to see how many mistakes an artist made during the process. So you may say it doesn't matter whether you made those mistakes, but I would like to challenge that mindset, because I think it is important whether you make mistakes during the drawing process, and that is because of few reasons. So first, the more mistakes you make during your process, the more time you spend on correcting those mistakes, and that is time that you should be spending on creating a new drawing. So you already have inefficiency there. When I noticed all my mistakes, I was like, I have to make sure that I eliminate all those problems so that I can spend more time just creating new drawings. And also, I really wanted my drawings to look beautiful at any time during the process. If for some reason I was not able to finish a drawing and I was forced to leave it in the middle, I really wanted my drawing to look good even when it's unfinished. So I mentioned efficiency. Another reason why this is important is because I already mentioned this before, but I'm going to repeat it. So the amount of mistakes and the type of mistakes that you make during your drawing will be proof of how much learning obviously you still have to do. And so the fact that you were able to eliminate all those problems during drawing is evidence that you have improved by that much. And so striving for like clean delivery of the drawing is, I believe, something that separates professionals from amateurs. And you don't really need like sophisticated equipment to do your time lapse. Right now, I can bet that the phone that you own is most likely able to do a time lapse. You just need to do a little bit of research to determine what is the best setup for your studio conditions. Okay, I'm not saying you have to do the time lapse every time you do a drawing. No, I mean you could obviously do it like once in a while, maybe once every fifth drawing or whatever number of drawings you feel appropriate. Okay, and then but remember that the reason you're doing this is because you want to see what are the turning points that take you in the wrong direction, okay? And then you correct those. So now we're like halfway through our drawing. You know what? Let's take a break. So now what I'm suggesting is that you take your drawings out of context of your studio. So for example, if you've been drawing for like 2 or 3 hours and you're taking a break, take the drawing with you, okay? Take it to another room and put it in a different context, because the reason I'm suggesting this is because when you're staring at the drawing for hours and the drawing is like in front of your face, and you think, oh wow, this eye looks perfect, I see no issues, it's perfect. But when you take it out of that environment and put it in a different environment, like go to your living room, put it on the wall next to your TV. Actually, later I'm going to suggest that you throw out your TV, okay? So be ready for that. Take the drawing out of the context of your studio, put it on some other wall. When you take a break to eat, just have the drawing somewhere where you're able to see it, so that even as you pass by, you will be able to see what the issues are, okay, right away. You'll be able to see that the eye you thought was correct is in fact wrong and you need to move it. Or the nose, something's wrong with the nose, or the figure is, there's proportions are wrong or whatever. You will be able to see it right away, okay? And even if, for example, if you're like in a class situation, if the drawing is small, you can take it home, and your home will be that out of context environment for your drawing where you can see better what the drawing still needs. Okay, so let's say we are on that break. We do have our drawing in our living room, and we're staring at it, and we're concluding, you know what, this drawing sucks. It's like the worst drawing I have ever done in my entire life. Okay, I am suggesting that you finish it anyway. Try to get it to the finish line. Try to correct whatever you think is wrong, even if really at the end it turns out to be crap. Drawings like that will teach you a lot. Try to analyze it, like, why do you think it's terrible? What went wrong? Look at the time-lapse video. At which point you think the drawing went downhill. Okay, drawings that you think went wrong are a perfect opportunity to just analyze what it is that you think you did wrong. Okay, and then be smart about it. Like, try to fix the thing next time. Okay, what I also found helpful is getting on Instagram, and I'm not suggesting this with the intention of you trying to get a lot of followers and a lot of likes. That's not what I'm suggesting it. I mean, if you get a lot of that, then that's totally fine, and I will be really happy for you. I've been on Instagram for a long time, a few years, I think since 2015. So Instagram gives you basically this consolidated place for your work. My recommendation is that you put the final version of the drawings or your paintings on Instagram, so that when you then review the timeline, you're able to judge how much or how little you improved. Okay, and it's really fun. Like, when I look at my page, I can see significant improvement, and I feel like I'm just starting. I feel like my artwork is in its infancy, and I can't wait to see my Instagram page 5 years from now. If you're insecure about some of the work that you're doing, maybe you don't feel like you're ready to display your drawings to the world on Instagram, that's totally fine. There is a functionality on Instagram where you can basically just make it private and post the drawings anyway, but keep them private. Just keep them to yourself only. Or maybe you can consider just opening up your account to the people that you love and the people that you trust. So yeah, I think Instagram is a really great tool for artists. So whatever I described, based on this drawing process that we went through, just try to repeat it every time you draw, and I'm sure I 100% you will improve. So let's get into the mindset that you may have towards drawing. And there are certain behaviors that we do without even realizing that negatively impact our ability to improve, okay, in general. So I'd like to point those out to you just so that you're aware and that you're able to kind of maybe even control them a little bit or avoid certain things in certain cases. So I hope you find this next part helpful. Given the fact that your goal is to improve drawing, what do you need to do? You have to draw as much as possible and then draw some more, okay? Practice makes it perfect, right? I don't even care at which level you're at. I don't care how good you think you already are. In order to keep improving, you need to keep drawing, okay? So you have to keep drawing. Draw. Even if you get to a point where you think you have improved enough, it's your responsibility to keep drawing, okay? If you want to continue to improve, you have to draw every day. You have to draw every day. It should be like your full-time job that you have to do every day, and you really don't mind not getting paid for it, okay? That's what it should be. Think about drawing constantly. Think about it when you wake up. Think about it when you go to bed. Dream about it. Try to prioritize your life around drawing. Like, if this is indeed what's important to you. Because you may say, oh, I'm trying to learn how to draw. I'm trying to improve, but you're not acting as such. Then, nobody will believe you. If you prefer hanging out with friends rather than spending a few hours drawing and working on that drawing you've been trying to complete, then I mean, at the end of the day, that becomes your choice. But, my recommendation would be to forget your friends, forget partying, stop watching Netflix. It's such a waste of time. Instead of watching TV or Netflix, you should be drawing. Prioritize. And in fact, after you finish watching this video, stop watching YouTube, okay? So, and because you should be drawing, honestly, you should be drawing. Do you want to improve or not? Let me ask you again, do you want to improve or not? So my next point is be productive as an artist. If you say, I'm an artist, I draw mainly, but all you have to show is like 5 drawings per year, then, I mean, sorry, I don't know what to say. Like, do you want to improve or not? Artists who are unproductive are basically like con artists. Sorry, maybe this is too harsh, but you have to keep drawing. You have to create new drawings. Make it your habit. Like, if you finish one drawing, start another one right away. I understand people want to take breaks, but do you really need that break? Was this act of drawing so exhausting that you need like a week or two-week vacation from drawing? No. Do you want to improve or not? Again, unproductive artists are like con artists, okay? Another thing that I think is important when you're trying to improve your drawing is, so try to figure out what you're into sooner than later. The earlier, the better. Are you naturally inclined to do realism? Do you like distorting proportions? Do you like keeping your values flat? Or do you like this really high contrast in values? Do you like short poses? Do you like long poses? Do you like quick gesture sketches? Whatever it is, recognize it early. Realize that this is exactly what you are interested in and stick to it, okay? Do not try to fight against those natural interests that are in you, because you're just going to hurt yourself. Or don't let anybody else distract you and tell you, oh, you know what, you shouldn't really do realism because it's not fashionable anymore. Nobody cares about realistic portraits. Just focus on what feels good to you. And if you feel like realism is your thing, then that's what you should be doing. Do not get distracted and continue to work on that and try to make it your own. And also some people may be like, okay, you're into realism, you should be painting looser. I could never get this obsession with trying to paint loose, because I'm of the position that again, like if you were naturally inclined to do loose paintings, then that's what you would do, okay? Like trying to go against the grain to me is just unnatural. That's what I'm trying to say. And so in my case, for example, it was obvious to me that when I started drawing, my intention right away automatically was to copy what I see with as much precision as I can, without like abstract distractions. Also in my case, I knew, for example, that I didn't like short poses and I didn't like those quick gesture studies. I learned more and I improved quicker when I was doing long poses. So basically recognize what you're into early and just stick with it hard, okay? Another thing I think is worth mentioning is that you don't rely on other people to teach you stuff. Obviously refer to any technical guidance from people with more experience to get you started. But don't rely on them to teach you stuff like style, for example. The reason I'm saying this is because I believe that style is something unique to each artist, and style is like a fingerprint. It's something you're born with, and I assure you, you have your own style. All you have to do is dig it out. It's hard work, but I strongly believe, I'm convinced, if I had a pencil, I would show it to you right now. That's your shovel. It's light, it's cheap, it's accessible at any time. You can pick it up anytime. And if you just keep drawing, draw, like I said, your style will come out naturally without you even realizing. And people next thing you know will be telling you, oh wow, this is such a unique drawing. So basically don't count on someone else to do the dirty work for you. You have higher standards, okay? You're not into shortcuts. And again, how do you get your own style out? Through drawing, constantly. Draw. Today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay? All year round, you have to draw. There is a lot of free resources out there that will help you improve drawing tremendously. Specifically, take the time to go to a museum, for example, and most of the time, like, you can get in for a small donation, and whatever you pay for that, for the entry fee for a museum, it's a lot cheaper than what you're probably paying for your art degree. Before the pandemic, I would go to the Met like regularly, and I regret I haven't done this earlier. I made it my thing to be there. I would be there a whole day. So I would plan the whole day. I would go there in the morning and I would do like a sculpture drawing, one of the sculptures that they have there. And then I would do an interior drawing of an interior because I developed an interest in drawing these beautiful rooms that they have. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened and it just messed up my training strategy. I can't wait for the museum to open. So I'm sure wherever you are, I'm sure there's some cultural center nearby that you can go and learn about the art history for free. I mean, there's so much information at the Met. The whole art world is there. And that has become like the most favorite place, I think, on the planet recently. And again, like I regretted not doing it earlier. I'm hoping that things will get back to normal soon and I can go back to my life at the Met. Another thing I would advise you to be cautious about is people trying to tell you what should and should not be important in your drawing. That's your decision and you should be the one deciding, okay, do I want this rat in my drawing or not? You know, those rats running in the subways in New York. Yes, I do want one of those rats in my drawings, and if that's what you feel your drawing needs, then that's what you should put in your drawing. Also, try to be your own critic. The best critic of your own work would be you being honest with yourself. Pick up one of your drawings you've done in the last week, you know. Pick 2 or 3 things that went wrong and 1 thing that went right, and obviously continue to do the thing that went right, but analyze the things that went wrong and try to not repeat the same mistakes next time you do a drawing, okay? Also, you may consider asking somebody you trust for their opinion on your drawing, and you may ask them to basically just tell you whether there's anything about your drawing that stands out to them as being off, but to somebody else it may immediately become apparent that the eye is too big or the foot is too small or something is wrong with the drawing that you're not noticing because your eyes have been on it for so long and you're just no longer able to tell what looks right, what looks wrong. I recently binge watched Rocky Balboa movies and I found them so inspiring, and I really realized that all artists who are serious should train like that character, Rocky Balboa. And I actually have been trying to do that, train just like that for a while. And obviously I'm not walking around and like punching people or punching those boxing bags. He was a professional. We are professionals, right? And it doesn't matter whether you are getting paid currently for doing drawing or not. If your goal is to become better and better and better, you have to train like a professional and train smart. I want to make sure that my analogy comes across well enough. So earlier I talked about how it's better not to rely on other people to teach you stuff, and this concept relates to the training like a professional idea. And instead of like waiting for the teacher to tell you what you need, my suggestion is that you determine what you need on your own and then develop your own training strategy. And so in case of Rocky Balboa, before each fight, he had a training strategy, right? And he wasn't waiting for, you know, somebody else to tell him how to train. I mean, he did have a mentor. I don't want to digress too much with the mentor stuff, but you know, he was determined to train. He knew he had to train. You have to realize that without like professional training, you will not get anywhere. And again, professional training, I don't mean go to some expensive art school to get a degree. How professional you are depends on what is your work ethic, how much work you put in the craft that you're trying to master. Going back to the training strategies, don't wait for the teacher to tell you how to learn or what to learn. Try to think through it on your own and act on it, whatever you come up with. So earlier I mentioned going to the museum and spending a lot of time there. You really don't need teachers to go to a museum with you. You just go there on your own. Also, the beauty about the museums is that you have the light already set up. You have the light situations there, so you can study shading, you can study proportions, you can study perspective, you can study dimensionality by drawing all the sculptures and whatever else they have there. There's so many things I wanted to draw, but again, I can't, obviously. But like, that was my training strategy. And that's what I was committed to. And same thing with when I was trying to transition from graphite to oil paint. I also had a lot of trouble with that, and so I really couldn't rely on any teachers to tell me how to transition effectively, because they all will tell you the same thing: do black and white, put some color. That did not work for me, so I came up with my own training strategy, and like the professional that I am, I stuck to it and I successfully transitioned from graphite to oil. And I go into the details about that specific problem in my other video. If I figure out how to do it, I'll put it up here somewhere. So feel free, obviously, to check it out. But that's what I wanted to just add. Come up with your own training strategy. Do not rely on anyone to teach you stuff, and you'll be that much ahead of everyone else. Rocky Balboa, that's how you should train. Only those artists who train like professionals will reach the top. The rest will continue to search for YouTube videos on how to improve drawing for the rest of their lives. So that's something to consider. And when I say the top, it's really the definition of what top means to you. It's obviously up to you. To some artists, getting a lot of attention and getting paid for their work might be the definition of top. To other artists, just being able to produce and having the ability to set up their life around their drawing is like reaching the top. Regardless of what the top is, it is for you to define it. For example, for Rocky, at the end, he lost all his wealth, right? It wasn't his fault, but he lost all his money, but he was still on the top because of all the legacy that he has built through all his hard work, and people just loved him. And in my case, I think it will take me a while to figure that out, and that's totally fine as well. Right now, I'm like you. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to improve my drawing. I'm trying to improve my painting and enjoy that process as much as I can. And remember that if someone is promising you some magical workshop, it's probably some kind of a scam, probably just going to be a waste of your money, waste of your time. I mean, you're not going to get anything unusual. You're not going to get any secret trades in that workshop. I don't even care who has the workshop, okay? You're not going to get any unusual advice. The next point I want to make is whatever you do, really do not try to copy other artists. And the reason I'm saying this is because no matter how well you mimic somebody's way of painting or drawing, in the best case scenario, you're going to become the worst imitation of the person that you're trying to imitate, okay? And I think that's like the worst thing that an artist can experience. I mean, unless, of course, you're going to get into like a successful business of forgery, but let's not go there, okay? We have enough artists who try to draw like Da Vinci or try to paint like some of the other famous guys. I don't want to drop names because that's not what this is about. And also, if you're a beginner and you have enrolled in some class at some art school, be mindful of the fact that there are a lot of teachers who will try to make you draw the way they do or make you paint the way they do. I've always felt like that's a trap that people who are just starting to learn how to draw easily fall into. And you know, the teachers, I mean, they're trying to do their best. They're trying to explain their ideas to their students, but the result of that most of the time is that the student ends up drawing or painting like the teacher. That's also almost like trying to imitate somebody, but in this case you're not even realizing that you're doing that. Just make sure that you're aware of that risk, and if you ever catch yourself drawing like somebody else, just pause and take a step back and really consider whether you want to proceed that way or whether maybe you need to change direction. And another important thing is we need to ask ourselves, why do we want to get better, right? Why do we draw in the first place? I try not to get high on the prize. I also try not to get low on the criticism, and I don't even care who is doing the praising and who is doing the criticism. I mean, if somebody compliments your work, you know, okay, take pleasure in that because you have been working hard at the end of the day, and you deserve some positive feedback right at the end of the day. But again, like on the flip side of that, if there's a lot of people who are not into your work and in fact are criticizing your work because they may not even understand what you're trying to do, then that becomes dangerous, because if your mindset is in that direction, then there's a high risk of you just getting upset, being miserable, thinking that you're worth nothing as an artist because nobody loves your work, nobody likes it, everybody's just like criticizing it. Try to look for other reasons why you're drawing, why you're trying to improve, okay? While you're trying to get better at drawing, while you're trying to improve your drawing, do not focus on trying to get into galleries or submit your work for competitions or trying to get like an art dealer. I mean, if the opportunity comes to you, then obviously accept it with open arms. The reason I'm saying this is because trying to get into galleries and trying to like submit your work for competitions, I feel like that's like a full-time job on its own. You have to spend a lot of time on researching the gallery, researching the competition. Who are these people? Why are they trying to do what they're trying to do? Are they trying to cheat me out of money? There's a lot of scams out there, so you have to be careful. So all the energy that you would have to spend on getting into galleries and getting into competitions and talking to people about your work, really at this point should be the time you should be spending on improving your art, just improving your craft, getting better and better and better. Even if you say, oh, I'm just going to email this gallery, it's just going to take me 5 minutes. But you see, it's really not 5 minutes, because the act of emailing a gallery or talking to a gallerist may take you 5 minutes, but then you think about it after the conversation. You spend a lot of time thinking about it, right? You'll be like, okay, why aren't they responding? Why aren't they talking to me? Do I suck? I probably suck, you know? My work is probably not good enough. And so you end up thinking about your whole life. This could also become a risk. You may end up on the verge of some kind of crisis, which could be avoided if you just focus on drawing, okay? So this particular advice is for a little bit more advanced people who, you know, you've been drawing for a while and you know exactly what you're doing. You still want to improve, obviously. Your goals your goal of improving should never change. You should have that goal all your life, to be better, to get better at drawing. But once you get to a certain level, I would encourage you to try different styles of drawing. So for example, again, we talked about focusing on realism and the type of realism that you're into specifically. But once you get really comfortable with that, I would encourage you to change gears a little bit. And I'm not saying totally abandon what you love to do. No, don't abandon what you love to do. Just do additional exploration on the side. So explore some abstract, maybe an abstract version of realism or surrealism, or go totally in the opposite direction and just do some true abstract development. And I've tried that. I'm actually at that stage right now where I try different things, and I must say it's very enlightening in some cases. Like my whatever new styles I try, they always inform my primary way of working, and vice versa. So I've always find that helpful. But maybe not right now. Maybe this is something you can make a note of for later when you feel like you have improved enough on what you're currently trying to do. All right? I really hope you found this video helpful, and I'm really proud of you that you are trying to improve your drawing skills. So let me know how you're progressing. Let me know if what I described today is helpful at all. Maybe you disagree with some of the things I mentioned. Because I know people feel differently about certain things, and I hope I wasn't too mean. We're wasting so much time. And we all have to learn how to prioritize our lives. I totally understand, but we should always find time to do the thing that's very important to us. And if that is drawing for you, it's certainly drawing for me, then I'm going to do my best to be the best at it. Let me know how you're progressing, and if there's anything you think I can help you with, let me know. Okay, so have a great time drawing, and I'll see you soon.